the narration of the names and hometowns of the military training instructors. Please reserve the strictest respect during our oath of enlistment. During this oath, airmen pledge their lives to support and defend the Constitution and our country. For the safety and comfort of those around you, we ask that you remain in place until our distinguished guests have left the reviewing stand and departed the area. Restroom facilities are located in the buildings on either side of the parking lot, and during this morning's ceremony, smoking and the consumption of alcoholic beverages is not permitted. Finally, please do not go into the grassy areas when taking photos during the ceremony. The flights before you today are named after Air Force pioneers who have made significant contributions to our enlisted heritage. They have special meaning to all airmen, especially those who are transitioning from civilians to warrior airmen of character. Today's graduates make up these heritage flights and will continue to shape our Air Force. And now, I'd like to take a moment to inform you on specific flight locations on the parade field, as reviewed from the bleachers, from your left to your right. The first flight to pass and review today is named for the 12th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Eric W. Benkin Flight. During his time, Warrior Week was created for basic trainings to better prepare airmen for today's joint fight. The next flight is named for the 4th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Gerald R. Murray Flight. Chief Murray focused on leading expeditionary airmen while placing greater emphasis on family standards of living. They are followed by Capinelli Flight, named for the 11th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, David J. Capinelli. Chief Capinelli fought for retirement benefits and airmen housing to improve troop retention. The next flight is named for the 1st Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Paul W. Airy Flight. Not only was Chief Airy the 1st Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, he also helped create the Airman Promotion System and recognized the need for professional military education for non-commissioned officers. They are followed by Blake Flight, named for the first woman to enter the Air Force, Staff Sergeant Esther McGowan Blake. Sergeant Blake enlisted in the first minute of the first hour of the first day that regular Air Force duty was authorized for women in 1948. The next flight is named for the 9th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, James C. Binnicker Flight. Chief Binnicker facilitated Master Sergeant's professional education and significant changes to the enlisted performance report. In the center of the parade field is the 737th Training Group's Drum and Bugle Corps, Andrews Flight, named for the 7th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Arthur L. Andrews. Chief Andrews emphasized taking care of the people to accomplish the mission. The flights selected to carry our national, state, and territorial flags are named for the 13th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Frederick J. Finch Flight. Chief Finch streamlined the selection process for Chief Master Sergeants along with facilitating change to an expeditionary force. They are followed by Gaylor Flight, named for the 5th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Robert D. Gaylor. During his time, he worked to improve race and gender issues, influencing policy changes and worked to improve the Air Force image. The next flight is named for the 8th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Sam E. Parrish Flight. Chief Parrish influenced improvements for military retirement and uniform changes. They are followed by McCoy Flight, named for the 6th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, James M. McCoy. Chief McCoy traveled extensively to seek out the opinions of the enlisted corps to help shape the Air Force. The next flight is named for the 3rd Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Richard D. Kissling Flight. Chief Kissling helped establish the Air Force Senior Non-Commissioned Officer Academy approved by Congress. They are followed by Roy Flight, named for the 16th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, James A. Roy. Chief Roy influenced major changes in developing airmen and making education more accessible to the force. The last flight to pass and review today is Smith Flight. Staff Sergeant Maynard H. Smith, a ball turret gunner, was awarded the Medal of Honor after his bomber was subjected to intense enemy attacks. Sergeant Smith extinguished fires, rendered first aid to wounded crew members, threw exploding ammunition overboard, and manned the workable guns to drive the enemy fighters away. At this time, please find a place to sit. Thank you and enjoy today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the entrance of our official party. Please remain standing for the invocation given by Chaplain Brock.
If it is your custom, I invite you to pray with me. Mighty and matchless God, we thank you for this celebratory occasion that brings us together as airmen, leaders, families, and friends. We rejoice with these graduates on this day of achievement. We ask for your divine blessing on them as they have labored many difficult weeks and have given much of themselves to arrive at this illustrious moment. We thank you for their families and friends and for the sacrifices they have made as well to make this day a reality. In your infinite goodness, give them joy as they witness the fruit of their labor. We also pray that you will give to their leaders and instructors a sense of accomplishment for their faithful and dedicated service to these graduates. Grant these airmen that they may be zealous in the causes of truth, justice, and freedom, and may they always bring honor to you, themselves, their families, and the great legacy of the Air Force. We ask all these things in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Brock. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. On behalf of the Commander, 37th Training Wing, Brigadier General Trent Edwards, welcome to the Basic Military Training Graduation. We are honored to introduce our 37th Training Wing leadership, beginning with the wife of the Commander, 37th Training Wing, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas, Mrs. Vanessa Edwards, and their son Dylan. Today's reviewing official is the Commander, Air Force Office of Special Investigations, Quantico, Virginia, Brigadier General Keith Gibbons. The Commander, Basic Military Training, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas, Colonel William Fisher and his wife Jamie. The Superintendent, Basic Military Training, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas, Chief Master Sergeant Richard Sutherland. We would also like to introduce some of our distinguished guests, beginning with the 14th Command Chief Master Sergeant, Air Force Office of Special Investigations, Quantico, Virginia, Chief Master Sergeant Hank Cottingham. Although time does not permit us to introduce all of our distinguished guests, the 37th Training Wing is proud to welcome each of you. We hope you enjoy today's ceremony. The airmen who will pass and review today have completed a demanding 7.5-week program that provides Air Force units throughout the world with trained airmen. Part of this training includes the time-proven concepts of military customs and traditions, of which this parade is a vital part. All graduating airmen will also march over the Enlisted Heroes Walk. They will lead the way for the thousands of airmen that will follow, all reflecting on our enlisted heritage, tradition of honor, and our legacy of valor. Our Commander of Airmen is Lieutenant Colonel Christopher Fuller, Deputy Commander, 737th Training Group. General Gibbons will review today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. 737th Training Group, United States Air Force, Joint Base San Antonio-Lackland, Texas. Subject, Second Quarter Parade Streamer. The Second Quarter Parade Streamer is awarded to the 322nd Training Squadron for excellence in parade competition during the period of 1 April through 30 June 2015. Signed, William Fisher, Colonel, United States Air Force.
Sir, I present the commands.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of ruffles and flourishes. Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the graduating airmen passing in review today represent a portion of the 33,000 recruits who will complete basic military training this year. The 737 Training Group provides all recruits the essential military training to become motivated members of the enlisted corps of the greatest Air Force in the world. The military training instructors are responsible for this indoctrination, development, and discipline of the airmen. They have dedicated endless hours to ensure all training objectives are met. Today's graduates have proven through academic studies, military training, physical training, and the development of teamwork that they are ready to take their place in the United States Air Force. The flights you will view today are representation of the enlisted force. Each flight represents an enlisted member of the Air Force who has embodied our core values and contributed to its heritage. As our graduates turn lessons to the bomb run to pass and review, they will march over the enlisted heroes walk. The airmen recognized on the paper have been awarded our nation's highest honors, representing heroic and unselfish actions as members of the United States Air Force in armed conflicts, including present-day operations in Afghanistan. They include 7 Medal of Honor, 25 Air Force Crosses, and 171 Silver Stars awarded for bravery during encounters while with hostile enemy combatants. These enlisted heroes serve to inspire all airmen to execute their duties courageously and with honor in their service to this great nation. Musical support for this morning's ceremony has been provided by the 737 Training Group's Drum and Bugle Corps, Andrews Flight, performing today under the direction of Staff Sergeant Adam Ross, hometown, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. These trainees are also in basic military training, but have been hand-selected to perform for ceremonies of this type. We would like for you to notice our national, state, and territorial flags. As these flags pass in review, please stand and render the appropriate courtesies for our national flag. Once the flags have passed in review, please be courteous of others and be seated in order to allow all our guests the opportunity to view the flags as they pass in review. Representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force No. 1, Air Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Whitney Stokes, hometown, Tacoma, Washington. Woman in the Air Force, Light Flight, led by Technical Sergeant James McKay, hometown, Cedar Park, Texas. Representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 9, Finisher Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Stephen Perryman, hometown, Colorado Springs, Colorado. The flights selected to carry our national, state, and territorial flags are representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 13, Finch Flight, led by Master Sergeant Christy Anders, hometown, Faith, South Dakota, and Technical Sergeant Christine Feldman, hometown, Griffith, Colorado.
Hey, Zach. Home.
The B Squadron Commander is Lieutenant Colonel Jill Murphy, Commander, 737 Training Support Squadron, hometown, Chicago, Illinois. Representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 5, Taylor Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Kyle Rogier, hometown, St. Louis, Missouri. Representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 8, Harris Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Randy Collins, hometown, Lemoore, California. Representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 6, McCoy Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Jennifer Russell, hometown, Bronx, New York. Representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 3, Disney Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Daniel Elias, hometown, Los Angeles, California. Representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 16, Roy Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Brandon Adcock, hometown, Taylor, Arizona. Representing a Medal of Honor recipient, Smith Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Martin Harrison, hometown, Dallas, Texas. past weeks, the airmen before you have been transformed from civilians into motivated, disciplined warrior airmen with the foundation to serve in the world's greatest Air Force. Once these airmen leave basic military training, they will enter Airmen's Week where they will develop their critical thinking skills and further personalize the Air Force core values. They will continue on to technical training to learn the skills needed to perform in one of over 130 Air Force specialties. They will then move on to serve at one of over 84 Air Force bases around the world or work directly with our sister services. As these airmen move on to technical training, they will continue to focus on adapting to military requirements, achieving occupational proficiency, and learning how to be highly productive members of the Air Force. These men and women will prepare for increased responsibilities and must ensure they are trained, qualified, and ready to deploy operate in an expeditionary environment while maintaining home station readiness. Of the hundreds of thousands of American citizens that enter the workforce each year, less than 1% have joined the ranks of the U.S. military, and an even smaller percentage in the United States Air Force. You should be proud of their accomplishments thus far. The airmen before you have reached a milestone in their Air Force journey and will require your continued support to assist them in their future endeavors. These airmen are the future of our Air Force and will pave the way for future generations of airmen as we continue to fly, fight, and win. We would like to take a moment to congratulate all of our squadron honor graduates as well as their families. Basic military training honor graduates distinguish themselves by being ranked in the top 10% of all airmen graduating in their class. The exceptional personal dedication, integrity, service before self, and sustained excellence these airmen display throughout basic military training earn them this outstanding distinction. As the airmen march forward for the oath of enlistment, we would like to thank the families and friends who are here in support of the airmen graduating today. Your words of encouragement help motivate these airmen through 7.5 weeks of basic military training. On behalf of the United States Air Force and Air Force Basic Military Training, we extend our thanks to the many families and friends of America's airmen for the support of your airmen and the greatest air power the world has ever known. General Gibbons will now come forward and address our graduated airmen.
Wow, this is an absolutely tremendous honor, and I thank General Edwards for giving me the honor to address you today. You know, I've been in the Air Force 29 years, and I want to join again after seeing what I saw this morning. You know, we get consumed in the United States and in America. If you listen to the news too much, they accentuate the negatives. But a day like today always reminds me of something former President Bill Clinton said. When he said there's nothing wrong in America that can't be cured what is right in America. And what I see on this parade field today is what is right in America. Now I know over the last 2 months you've endured a lot of emotions. Probably a little bit of loneliness from missing your family and loved ones. Probably a little bit of fear of the unknown. Probably a little bit of uncertainty whether or not you were good enough to get through basic military training and earn the title of an American Airman. But you did that. You all are American Airmen today, and you've got to be proud of that. I was a little amazed when I got here this morning. I got here a little early. I saw crowds lining up 2 hours before the ceremony, and now these stands are packed. I thought maybe I was walking into a Taylor Swift concert. But they're actually here to celebrate with you, because they know what you're doing is something special. I would like to address one group in the audience. The moms and dads, parents, could you please stand up? In the United States Air Force, we live by core values: integrity first, excellence in all we do, and service above self. I wish we could take credit for that. Your sons and daughters didn't come through these gates with that, and we taught them that. They came through these gates already having those core values by the lessons you taught them around your dinner table and the examples you set in life. So I have to thank you on behalf of the United States Air Force for making this day possible, because without you, we would not have these great Americans standing on this parade field. So thank you. I salute you all. But I don't want to burst your bubble, because the Air Force and the military training instructors out here did something that you probably couldn't do in the first 18 years of your sons and daughters' lives. And I say that with great authority, not as a general officer in the United States Air Force, but as a father of 4 grown children. Because I guarantee you, your children now go to bed at a decent time. They know how to get up on time. They know how to make a bed with precision, how to fold their clothes, and how to tidy up after themselves. You can thank the military training instructors. I know some of your family couldn't be here, some of your friends couldn't be here, but these stands are filled, not just with your parents, with your brothers and sisters, your grandparents, your friends, some spouses, and probably some children. They're here today because they know you've decided to do something special with your life. And you've just graduated from something special that most Americans can't. As earlier said, less than 1% of our nation ever served in a uniform. You all decided to do that. You have friends back home, and they probably have jobs. But you don't have a job. Yes, you'll get paid, and you'll have benefits, but don't confuse that with the job. What you have done is something special. You've answered a call to serve. And the difference between having a job and being called to serve is you will now serve under a code of conduct. And the very first article of that code of conduct really says what your commitment is. It says, I'm an American, fighting in the forces that guard my country and our way of life, and I am prepared to give my life in their defense. I know there's probably 575 reasons what brought you to this parade field today. Different skin tones, different upbringings, different genders, different religions, but you all leave today here, united with everyone else in blue as American Airmen. So I have one last question for you. Are you ready? Are you ready? All right. I think they're ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. General Gibbons will now administer the oath of enlistment.
Now, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name. Do solemnly swear or affirm.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States.
And I will obey the orders of the President of the United States.
And the orders of the officers appointed over me.
And the orders of the officers appointed over me.
According to regulations of the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
According to regulations of the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Airmen, and welcome to the world's greatest Air Force.
Thank you, General Gibbons. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as our newest airmen recite the Airman's Creed and remain in place for the departure of our official party. I am an American Airman.
I am a warrior. I have answered my nation's call. I am an American Airman. My mission is to fly, fight, and win. I am faithful to a proud heritage, a tradition of honor, and a legacy of valor. I am an American Airman, guardian of freedom and justice, my nation's sword and shield, its century and avenger. I defend my country with my life. I am an American Airman, winning, leader, warrior. I will never leave an airman behind. I will never falter.
Thank you. Please be seated. As viewed from the bleachers, from your left to your right, the first two heritage flights are Benkin and Murray flights. The next two flights are Cabanelli and Airy flights. They are followed by Blake and Vinegar flights. Next are Gaylor and Paris flights, followed by McCoy and Kissling flights. The last two flights are Roy and Smith flights. Airmen